Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Energy News Beat Daily Stand-Up. My name's Stuart Turley, President and CEO of the Sandstone Group. Today is January 29th. We are already rolling. Let's go through the top stories for the day. How a Chinese AI startup just took the tech market amid security concerns. Holy cow, Batman. What's going on there? Ukrainian energy infrastructure on the verge of collapse. Russian LNG exports hit a new record. An on-site natural gas plant will help power Stargate's first data center, public filings show. And Trump's bold vision, unleashing America's energy potential. I'll tell you what, there is a lot cooking around the world right now, and let's get started on this one. This one is actually from Nathan, his Substack, Nathan's newsletter on his Substack, Nathan Hammer, and he is one cool cat. I recommend everybody go follow him. The article, How a Chinese AI Startup Just Shook the Tech Market Amid Security Concerns. DeepSeek actually used approximately 2,000 NVIDIA H800 chips, which are less powerful than those used by U.S. companies, spending less than $6 million on development. This is taking the world by surprise. When you take a look at NVIDIA stock, it was down 17%. Microsoft was down 2%. Google was down on it 4%. ASML Holdings was down 5.75%. And if this does come through, that you sit and take a smaller chip, data centers are going to be able to get by on less chips and less expensive chips, which is a great thing. So I don't think we're done seeing how all the data centers are going to be impactful and how all this is going to play out. So just keep an eye out for it. And I'm going to go into some more in the Stargate in Abilene here in just a second. Ukrainian energy infrastructure on the verge of collapse. This is out of Forbes. Kyiv's power grid is reportedly on its knees following recent Russian strikes. Ukraine energy infrastructure is reportedly nearing a collapse following sustained Russian attacks. Early 2024, Moscow added Ukraine power plants to its list of legitimate military targets. I'll tell you what, I just wish everybody would get this war done. Ukraine is not going to be able to take any land back. And quite honestly, President Putin was provoked by the NATO go ahead and going through and constantly adding new countries closer to the Russian border. So this is not just a one-sided event. We just need to end it. And President Trump and President Putin, I think, are going to be able to get this thing ended here fairly quickly. But what this does mean is, who's going to go in and build this back up when you take a look at the contracts? I'm tired of the United States paying for Ukraine. Did I say that out loud? Yep. Russian LNG exports hits a whole new high. EU purchased more than half of the volumes despite vows to eliminate dependence on the sanctioned energy country. Russia exported 33 million tons of LNG last year, and more than half of that went to the EU market. The figure represents a 4% increase from the previous record of 32.9 million tons set in 2022. And this is even with having an expansion unit to the Arctic LNG not online. The EU accounted for approximately 17.4 million tons, or 52% of the Russians' total LNG. France, Spain, Belgium, and the Netherlands were the largest buyers of Russian LNG. Again, this goes back to, we need to have low-cost natural gas around the world. And if we realize that the Ukraine war was brought on by the management of the EU and the management of NATO, as well as Russia. I'm not throwing anybody saying anybody's innocent here, but let's end this. Let's end this fight and let's get it all negotiated. And President Putin, if you've listened to my podcast with George McMillan and everything else, it's all about land power versus sea power and what the United States and what the EU have tried to negotiate and keep Russia from monetizing their energy wealth. And he was able to anyway. So let's just end this and let's everybody get back to it, because if Germany does not get low cost Russian energy, Russian natural gas soon, they will finish. The Green New Party will be extremely happy because they will have been fully industrialized. And so goes Germany, so goes the EU. We need, honestly, for President Trump to be able to say he's ending the Ukraine war, so the Democrats don't say, oh, you lost the Ukraine war and now you've lost the EU. They're going to blame this on President Trump when he inherited an absolute abysmal situation. So let's go to this next story. An on site natural gas plant will help Stargate's first data center, the public findings show. This is in the Stargate data center, which is in Abilene, Texas. Developers file permits to operate natural gas turbines with a combined capacity of 360 megawatts at Stargate's site in Abilene, Texas, which is enough to power 90,000 homes. What this brings up, and I talked about this today on a podcast in Dallas with R.T. Trevino, David Blackman, and Dr. Ed Ireland. And we talked about this from a perspective that the microgrids in the United States are going to become very critical. If you have money, you will be able to afford a natural gas power plant for your own very own. This is critical from the standpoint that AI data centers will not be built in New York, California, or any Democrat run cities where pipelines have not been allowed to be put in. Because Bill Gates, Ray Trevino basically pointed out, Bill Gates said that we need natural gas in order to get there because of the nuclear processing in getting applications and the regulatory processes that were put in during the Nixon administration and have not been fixed yet. Very, very important article, and I'm glad that we're there. So let's finish up with this story here with Trump's bold vision unleashing America's energy potential. This is really important in that with the energy leaders that I'm talking to around the world, the declaration of a national emergency by President Trump is phenomenal. This is going to allow us to try to really help reduce the cost for everyone, but it's what more importantly, it's putting a focus on the rest of the world on being able to say that we need to look at all types of energy. We need to look at how do we get the lowest kilowatt per hour to everyone on the planet with the least amount of impact on the environment. And oh, by the way, I've been saying that for a very long time. So America will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that is no other manufacturing nation will have, the largest amount of oil and gas than any other country on earth. We are going to use it, and we're going to bring prices down. I applaud President Trump in how he's handling this, and he's setting a tone for the rest of the country and the rest of the world. That is, if you are a political leader, regimes change if energy is not low cost and sustainable. And so New York, California, and New Jersey, take note, please. Fire up some natural gas pipelines because those are a lot less pollutants than the renewable or non-sustainable, because people are tired of paying for the additional fees, and they're going to want low cost energy, and we can have it with lower impact on the environment. So with that, like, subscribe. Hey, we've got a new sponsor coming around, Reese Consulting. We are so proud to have our new sponsor. We've got the logos coming in, and it is just really pretty cool because Reese Consulting is one of the United States leaders in the natural gas field. And it says a lot for the reach for the show to have new sponsors coming on board. So, with that, like, subscribe, share, read this to your pets, and look forward to seeing you next time.